friends, this is Karen from Blue Rooster Farm, and today we're in the kitchen and I'm getting ready to make some yogurt, but not the kind we made last time. This time we're going to use regular whole milk. So if you want to see how I do that, stick around. Hey everybody, how are you doing? Thanks for sticking around. Well, today I thought I would make yogurt using regular whole milk. Now, since I made the kind in the Instant Pot with the ultra pasteurized Fairlife milk, we have really loved it and we've made it several times. I have it for breakfast in the morning and I've used peach pie filling and raspberry pie filling, just a little of that and some vanilla, and it is so good. Very thick, very creamy. We really love it. So if you haven't tried making Instant Pot yogurt, you need to because it is really good. Now, the nice thing about using the ultra pasteurized milk, the Fairlife that we used in our previous video, you don't have to boil it or bring it to 180 degrees. It is all super pasteurized and ready to go. Also, I think that milk will probably be higher in protein, and some people say it's a little creamier and thicker, but we're going to try with regular whole milk and see what the difference is because, of course, regular whole milk is so much easier to come by. Now, I haven't looked to see if we can find the Fairlife Ultra Pasteurized milk here in our small town grocery store. I do know we have it at the Walmarts in the cities close by us, and that's where we've always bought it. So the whole milk is a lot easier to come by. So we're going to try and see what the difference is and whether we like the whole milk yogurt as much as we like the instant yogurt with the ultra pasteurized milk. So I'm going to show you how we do this. It's going to take just a little bit more time, but it will be nothing that I have to hang around by the Instant Pot and watch it carefully for or anything like that. It's just a process that's going to take all day regardless of what kind of milk you use. So what I have here is I have some leftover, well, what we have left over of our last batch of yogurt. And if you are able to save 2 tablespoons of your last batch of yogurt that you made, you can just continue to make your yogurt. If you don't have any of your homemade, you want to use a yogurt, a plain yogurt, not flavored, a yogurt with live active cultures. And all you need to do is just check on the label to make sure there's live cultures. Now, if you want to make Greek style yogurt, you probably want to purchase the Greek yogurt. If you want it really thick, there are ways to get it thicker by cooking it longer and by straining it. But I really prefer a thick yogurt, but not as tangy. I like mine a little more mild. It's great to have the tang when I'm cooking with it, but when I'm just eating it fresh, I like it to be a little more mild. So I'm going to bring you down here. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. Last time, I think I shared with you that in order to kill any bacteria or just to prepare your Instant Pot, to put about 2 to 3 cups of water in it, set it for 15 minutes of pressure cooking, let it do its thing, and then you can vent it and then pour out the water, dry it well, and you've got kind of a sterilized pot. And that way it won't be competing with the organisms or the bacteria that are in the yogurt that you're trying to culture. If you don't do that, just wash your pan out well. I've done it both ways and I haven't noticed a difference. So I've got a clean pot. I've got my milk, my yogurt. I am going to add a little bit of sweetened condensed milk. And you can add vanilla at this point if you want. I'm not going to be putting vanilla in mine because I can cook with it and not worry about competing with the flavors if I'm making something, because I'll be adding flavoring to whatever I'm baking. But we're going to put everything we need in here, and I'm going to show you what buttons to push, and we're going to see how it turns out today. So I'm going to bring you down and we'll see what's going on. Now we've got you down here by the Instant Pot. You can see the controls here. On your Instant Pot, if you want to follow these directions, you should have a yogurt button. Now, if you don't have a yogurt button, you're going to have to research how to make yogurt out of your Instant Pot on your own. Most Instant Pots now have the yogurt button. Some of the older ones did not. I think there are ways to make it with an Instant Pot, but you're going to have to fiddle with adjustments and temperatures and stuff. It's going to be a little more difficult. But with the yogurt button, it's really simple. So what I'm going to do before we start the process, I am just going to add a half a gallon of whole milk. And this is just regular pasteurized milk that you drink and you get off your grocery store shelf. Okay? It's not ultra pasteurized, it's just regular pasteurized milk. So why we are doing this method and boiling this, or actually getting it to 180 degrees, is because there are organisms and bacteria in this milk that will compete with the yogurt cultures that will hinder or change up your yogurt. Some people don't mess with this heating method, but we're going to stay true to the recipe, and we're going to go ahead and heat this up to what they call boiling, but it's not boiling, it's 180 degrees. So what you're going to do then, after you have your milk in there, you're going to push your yogurt button, and it's already jumping to the time, but we don't want to jump to the time because we need to boil ours first. So let's see here. I need to go and push this again. So let me show you that again. I accidentally pushed the wrong button. So you're going to hit yogurt, and it's going to show you time, but we don't want time, so we're going to push the button again, and it's going to say boil. Okay? So this is what we wanted to do. Now, if I just don't push anything else, it should beep here in just a second. And there it goes. So this is going to bring it up to 180 degrees, and it will do that probably 25 to 30 minutes. When it hits that point, it's going to beep at us, and we're going to check the temperature and see if it's there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover my pot with my lid. Now I took my rubber gasket off because my husband just made split pea soup yesterday with it, and that rubber gasket smelled like split pea soup even after I washed it several times. So I'm just taking it off and putting this lid on, and I'm going to lock it on just to keep it closed, but it doesn't have to be on pressure because it's not going to get very hot in there. It's not even going to actually boil. So you could even use like a glass lid that fits your Instant Pot too. But we're just going to put the lid on and not worry whether it's venting or not, because it won't build any pressure. And we're just going to wait for this to beep at us. And when it beeps at me, I'm going to bring you back. The Instant Pot just beeped, and so we're going to check it out. It's very hot. What we need to do is we need to take a thermometer, and you could use your meat thermometer, or if you have a candy thermometer, as long as it has a temperature in the range of 180, and each of these will go to that. So I'm just going to use my meat thermometer, and let me just move you up here. Okay, there's what it looks like right there. So we're just going to stick this in and see what the temperature is. It needs to be at 180. Now, if it's not, it's okay. We can get it there. Let's see. There it is. Okay, mine is, according to this, 150. Let me try my other one. This one looks like it's 100 and almost 160. So we're going to need to heat this up just a little higher. And what we're going to do is we are going to go over here to saute, and we're going to click it. And now this is going to get hot really fast. So I need to use a whisk to keep it stirred. You don't want it to scorch, and it will get hot on the bottom. And some people wonder what the difference is between pasteurized milk and ultra pasteurized milk. Ultra pasteurized milk is when they bring it up to a higher heat, and so they kill off more of the bacteria. They just kind of do it really quickly and then bring it down quickly, kind of a flash pasteurization. And so it gets hotter, and that kills more of the bacteria in the milk. Also with Fairlife, you're getting they're filtering the milk. So they're filtering out things and putting it back together. And so you get more protein as well in that. Okay, so we continue to whisk. All right, I think I have it at 180 degrees. And so we are going to go ahead and take this thermometer out, and we're going to turn off our Instant Pot. And I'm just going to stir the bottom here because I don't want it to continue cooking and scorch the bottom. What I'll do next is I'm going to remove this insert with the milk in it, and I need it to cool down to 110 degrees. And I want to do it quickly because I've still got to do the 8 hours of setting time with this yogurt. And so I'm going to stick it in a pan of cold water and probably continue adding cold water as it warms up just to get this cooled down quickly. You can just set it on your counter and let it cool down naturally if you like. But again, because we're going to be having it in the Instant Pot for another 8 hours, I don't want to stay up late tonight working on this. So I will bring you back when it's all cooled down. I brought my milk back in, and it's a little under 110. 110 degrees is what you need to get it down to. And it's okay if you get under it. You don't want it to be over that, because at that point it's going to kill off your active live cultures. And whenever it's in the Instant Pot, it's just bringing it up to 110. If you get it lower than that, it's okay. It's just that you have to heat it back up to 110. Now on top, you'll see that there's a little bit of a skin. And if you want to remove that just to keep your yogurt smooth, you can. Okay, just kind of like when you cook pudding, you have a little topping up there too. So now what we're going to do is we're going to add our yogurt. It is 2 tablespoons of an active cultured yogurt, and I'm just using the stuff that we had left. And then if you want to sweeten it, you don't have to. You can add a half a can or a whole can if you want it sweeter of sweetened condensed milk. I'm going to use a little bit less this time just because we can always sweeten it later. Be a little more healthy. Now, when you add a half a can to this yogurt, it is not going to be a real sweet yogurt at all. It won't be as sweet as the kind you buy at the store, but you can certainly sweeten it with sugar or honey or whatever you'd like to sweeten it with. I think you can even use some of the artificial sweeteners or stevia or things like that. That would be fine too. But we're just going to use part of a can. That was probably about a fourth of a can, just to give it a little sweetness. And then I'm going to stir. And you could also add some vanilla. And we're not going to do that. But we just want to get that yogurt mixed in. Okay. Now we're going to put the lid back on, and again, I don't have my seal on it. You can just put a regular lid on top if you'd like. Doesn't matter if you're going to vent it or not. We just want it covered. That way it'll keep the heat in. Okay, so we're going to hit yogurt right here. And then we don't want it to boil, so we're going to go over here to time. And 8 hours is normal, and I really like the 8 hours with the other milk, and so I'm going to go ahead and keep it at 8 hours. If you want it less tangy, you can go less, like 6 hours. I wouldn't go under 6, and you can go longer if you want it very tangy and real thick, more of a Greek yogurt. I think up to 12 is okay, but 8 hours, it wasn't very tangy at all, and it tasted just perfect to me. So we're going to see how it does with the regular whole milk at 8 hours. So it is already starting, and make sure it says normal. You want it to be on normal. On this dial right here, it's going to tell you how many hours it's been culturing. So right now it's at 0. It'll go 1 after 1 hour all the way up to 8, and at 8 it will beep. And what I'll do is I'll bring you back, and we will put this in the refrigerator overnight, actually just the insert, and we'll put a piece of plastic wrap over it, put it in the refrigerator overnight, and in the morning we'll take a look at it. But I'll bring you back when I open it up to see what it looks like after 8 hours. The Instant Pot has gone off. It dinged, and it's been 8 hours. So let's take a look. Looks pretty good. Looks like there's a little bit of whey in there. The whey is just that liquid, just barely. You know, I can't tell any difference from the other kind of milk. Just looking at it right here, it seems to be very firm. Let's see if it'll hold up a spoon here. Yep, it will hold up a spoon. So we do have a nice firm yogurt. So what I'm going to do, it's just, like 110 degrees right now, so it's just nice and warm. I'm going to put some plastic wrap over it and put it in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow in the morning we will look at it, give it a taste, and see if it's any different than the other kind of milk. See you in the morning. Good morning, everyone. It is the next morning. Our yogurt has been in the refrigerator overnight, and we're going to take a look and see what it looks like. So I'm going to bring the camera down, and we'll take a look together. Okay, I've had this plastic wrap over it overnight, and let's see what it looks like here. There's just a little bit of liquid, not much. And it was pretty firm last night, so let's see. Oh yeah, it's very firm this morning. And it seems to be quite solid. I don't see any liquid. I was expecting more whey off of it, but I don't see that. Let me get a bowl here. And I'm going to be putting some frozen blueberries in mine this morning for breakfast. So I've got some frozen blueberries in there. Oh my, look at that. That is very thick. Very thick. It's kind of like sour cream thick. Looks like ice cream. So let's see. Let's put a few more blueberries on top without them rolling off. Doesn't that look good? Okay. Get a little spoon here. All right. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Very creamy, very thick. Okay, I'm going to do a taste test. Let me move you back up. Okay. That is really good. I personally cannot tell a difference between using the regular milk, regular whole milk, and the Fairlife. They're both creamy, they're both very thick. This doesn't have a lot of tang. It's just right. It's mild, it's got a bit of a sweetness, just right. I would say that the only difference and the thing that would be keeping me from using the whole milk, just the regular pasteurized whole milk, would be that you have to bring it to temperature and then cool it down. Just that little bit of extra time would be the only reason I would choose to make the others over this one. But I will probably be making this one a lot because, again, the whole milk is very easy to find in our area and we'll always have it on hand. So I hope you enjoyed testing this recipe with me. If you haven't tried yogurt in your Instant Pot, I really think you need to. You know, I have friends that don't like yogurt, and I think they would really like this. You can adjust the tang, because I think a lot of times it's the tang that people don't like. And if you don't like the tang, just cook it a little bit less and it will be fine. And again, I don't think this has much of a tang. It just tastes very creamy. Very good. So I hope you enjoy this video. I will be making some muffins with yogurt here soon. I might even be adding them to this video, maybe coming up next. But it's great for cooking, it's great for eating. Make some today. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Also, don't forget to like and share, and I hope to see you back here soon. Bye-bye. Hey friends, this is Karen from Blue Rooster Farm, and today we are in the kitchen getting ready to make some delicious raspberry yogurt muffins. If you want to see how I make these delicious muffins, stick around. Thanks for sticking around. So the recipe that we're going to be making together today is for a peach yogurt muffin. Now, originally I received this recipe from my sister-in-law, Jenny, after we had some at her home, and this has probably been 25 years ago, a long time ago. And they were just so moist and cake-like and really delicious flavor. And she shared the recipe with me. So I have made them many, many times, and my recipe card shows that it is very stained and dirty. But the one thing nice about this recipe, it is delicious with the peach yogurt, but you can use any flavor yogurt that you like. And so today, since we've made our own yogurt in the Instant Pot, I'm going to be making a raspberry yogurt muffin. And I think that would be really delicious because both my husband and I really love raspberries. So we're gonna try raspberry yogurt. Now, I have done many flavors in the past. We really like the peach. I have used the cherry, the strawberry is really good, blueberry. I have probably used a store-bought raspberry yogurt, but I want to see how delicious it is with our homemade yogurt and our homemade pie filling. So if you saw my video on making yogurt, you will have seen that we got several nice jars of really thick yogurt, and it's super delicious. We are just, you know, we're making this from now on. It has won us over. And I had raspberry pie filling that I made last year from the raspberries in our garden. So when you mix the two together, you get a really good raspberry yogurt. And so I've gone ahead and I've mixed it up. The recipe calls for 2 of the small packs of yogurt and they usually weigh about 6 ounces. So that's about a cup altogether. So I've got a cup of raspberry yogurt here, and that's what we're going to be making these muffins with. And I tell you, if you like raspberry, you're gonna love these. If you don't like raspberry, you can make them whatever flavor you like. So we're gonna start off. I've gotten a lot of things prepped here, so it'll go quickly. We have a stick of melted butter right here, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it here in my mixing bowl. And we're gonna mix this by hand because with muffins, you don't want to over beat them. It'll make them tough and they won't rise very well. So we've got our half a cup of butter, which is 1 stick of butter. I've got my 2 6-ounce containers of yogurt, which is a cup of yogurt. I'm just gonna have to clean this spoon off. That is so good. I also need to add 1 egg, and I'm gonna go ahead and crack the egg in this little bowl first and give it a whisk. That way we won't have to mix it too much in our batter once we add the flour. Now you don't have to worry about over mixing until you add your flour. But we want to get this 1 egg very well incorporated into our liquid. Okay, and then we also want to add 2 tablespoons of milk. You can substitute half and half or whatever kind of liquid you want, just 2 tablespoons. And now we're going to stir that up. Get everything nicely combined. That way we won't have to over mix when we add our flour and our dry ingredients. And I want to add a teaspoon, I believe it's a teaspoon, a half a teaspoon of almond extract, and a half a teaspoon is just a little more, or just about this capful, I think. So get that in there, stir that up. And if you don't like almond flavor, you could use vanilla flavoring, but I think that almond flavoring just gives it a really good taste. Let's see, and now we want to add our dry ingredients. So it says to sift together all this ingredients, but what I do is I just go ahead and I pour all the ingredients on top. This is 1 2/3 cups of flour, just all-purpose flour. This is a half a cup of regular sugar. We're going to use 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Oops. Make sure we get the right thing. We don't want 2 teaspoons of baking soda in our muffins. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Well, I think I'm right. It looked a little powdery or sandy, I guess. Baking soda is a little more sandy, and then baking powder is a little more fluffy, floury. So 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1, 2, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. So you don't want much baking soda. And when you add baking soda, it's really important that you make sure there are no lumps. No one wants to bite into a lump. So I always kind of push those lumps out as I pour it into the batter. Now I need to make sure I get my lids on the correct jars so that we don't make a mistake. Usually I tell by looking at it, but some other people in the house that cook, they might not notice. We also need 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. Oops. And I think that's it. Make sure we got it all. Yep. Now we're going to stir this carefully. I like to fold it over because again, we don't want to over mix. And if your yogurt's thick, this batter is going to be thick. And my yogurt is thick. it's starting to absorb it. And the butter in there will start to chill too, and that will also make it thick, because it was in there in liquid form because it was warm. Now once we have all these other ingredients in here, it is becoming solid because it is cooling off. So we are just finishing up, turning that under, and you can see the baking powder and baking soda are going right to work on it. You can see the little air bubbles forming. So that's what it looks like. And now I've just taken a muffin pan and I've just put the liners in it. You can definitely go ahead and spray with nonstick your muffin pans, but I like to use the paper liners because they make it easy to take out, and you can also freeze those really well. So we're going to fill, and I think this is going to be too much. We're going to fill each cup about 2/3 to 3/4 full. And I just like to use a cookie scoop just to get it right. Oh, and one other thing we want to add, I almost forgot, 1/4 cup of slivered almonds. And you don't have to have these, but we definitely want them. So I'm just going to stick a few in those that we didn't get it added. And again, be careful not to over stir. And I've just about made a grand mistake, but I think I've got it. Okay, and I'll kind of pick it up from different sides too. Okay, and I think I'm going to use a spoon because I don't need all of this. These are going to be so good. And they're kind of cake-like. They're very moist. And you know, the almonds in there, we love the almonds in there because we love nuts in our baked goods, and these just taste really good in there. And again, the reason I'm not scooping them in there is because this is just a little bit too much. And so I'm just putting it in there and then just scooping out what I need. I could just as easily take my spoon and do it. This batter is very thick. If you have thick yogurt, your batter will be very thick. If your yogurt is more runny, it will be thinner. But you do want it to be a thicker batter and not runny like pancake batter or something like that. These are muffins. And it's going to perfectly fill our 12 cups. If any of them aren't filled as much, I'll just top them off. Don't want to lose any of that delicious batter. Get it all. And I have my oven set at 400 degrees. If you are using a darker pan, you might want to set it at 375. These are going to bake at 400 degrees for 16 to 19 minutes, so I'll bring you back when we take them out of the oven. All right, they have just come out of the oven. There's just a little bit of golden brown here and there. When you push on the centers, they pop back. That's how you know they are done. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a little bit of glaze for them. And what you want is you want 2/3 cup of powdered sugar. That's a 1/3 cup, so we'll just use 2 of these. And that's just approximate. And then you want 2 to 3 teaspoons of lemon juice and 1/4 of a teaspoon of almond extract. So let's just, I normally just throw it in, but we'll do it correctly. 2 to 3 teaspoons of lemon juice. 1. And I'm going to go ahead and add 3. And if I need to add more powdered sugar, I will. And then 1/4 of a teaspoon of almond extract. And again, if you don't like almond extract, just leave it out. And if you don't like lemon, if you don't think lemon will be good on your muffins, you can just use milk. All right, let's stir this up. And you just want to make it a glaze. I think lemon and raspberry will taste very good together. And here's the thickness that we have. Not real runny, but it levels out really easily. And we're just going to put this on the top of each muffin. So I'm just going to just kind of like frost them. And a spatula isn't the best tool, but it's going to work just fine for me. They melt, they're still warm, so that's good. They melt quite quickly. You want to do it while they're hot because it will make a nice hard glaze after it's cooled. Okay, we have them all iced or glazed. Now we'll let them cool for just a few minutes. We don't want to break into them too soon because they'll fall apart. We like to eat them warm, so we don't want them to cool all the way, but probably 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll give them a taste test. So I'll bring you right back. All right. Here it is. We're going to give it a taste test. It looks good. It smells delicious. So I'm just going to pull the paper back, try to keep it up here so you can see. Very moist. And I've let them cool for about 10 minutes. So right now the paper's sticking because they're quite warm still, but it will pull apart easier after they've cooled. And I'm just going to take about a half of it. Oh, maybe less. And we're going to give it a taste. Very, very moist. I love the hint of tartness with the glaze on top. It goes really well with those raspberries. It tastes like I'm eating a raspberry cake. That is so good. And these are so easy to make. So easy. And I tell you, your kids are going to love them. I'm just going to sit here and eat it. It is delicious. I hope you get a chance to make these. They are really good. And the yogurt in them gives them that super moistness, and they're good for you. They do have sugar, which, you know, but they are delicious. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I have had such a tremendous growth in my channel in the last couple of weeks, and I really appreciate all of you who have been here throughout and all of you that are new to my channel. I hope that you continue to watch and continue to comment to let me know what you like to see. Again, I just bring you along with things that I'm going to be making for the day, or what I'm doing out in the garden during the summertime, or what I'm sewing. And so I've always got something going on, and I'm glad to share with you whatever you're interested in learning. So please leave in the comments what you like and what you'd like to see more of. Also, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And some people have reached out to wonder how to share a video. If you go under my video, there is some choices, and one of them is share. You can either copy the link and then put it in a Facebook or Instagram, or in a text message or an email and share it that way. Or you can select the certain, I guess, app or wherever you're sharing it on, select that, and it will directly go to your account there, and you can post it on your account. So if you'd like to share, that really helps my channel, and I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you back here soon. Bye-bye.